Hello and welcome to NDE Journeys. Today we're embarking on a journey that takes us to the very edge of the human experience and understanding, a narrative that blurs the lines between life and something far more profound. We'll explore the remarkable experience of a man named Doug, whose encounter with the extraordinary left him with insights that challenge our conventional views of life, consciousness, and the mysteries that lie beyond. What happens when we face moments that defy explanation? When the boundaries between the physical and the unreal become blurred? Doug's story is not just about survival, it's about the transformation that opened doors to understanding some of life's greatest mysteries. Join me as we step into this incredible narrative, uncovering the layers of an experience that is as mystifying as it is enlightening. Without giving too much away, let's just say that what Doug went through might change the way you see the world around you. So sit back, relax, and prepare to embark on a journey that traverses the unknown and the awe-inspiring. This is the story of Doug, a story like no other. I had been on a long music tour with country artist Merle Haggard. We had traveled all the way to the upper western corner of Canada from California, and then returned to California. Most of the trip I had spent in a bus bunk with my laptop computer being my connection to the outside world. We traveled for days, probably about 4 or 5. When we finally got back to California, I got in my little car and headed for my home about 40 minutes north on Interstate 5. I hadn't noticed yet that I had become badly dehydrated during the long trip. I drove to my house in the mountains with little trouble, but it was morning and I was a bit restless. My brother called me from the local casino and wanted me to come down and play some slots with him. Although I felt a little lightheaded, I was still wanting to do something to break my feelings of restlessness from a long trip on a tour bus. I got into my car and headed back into town. I arrived at the casino to find my brother and a friend playing slots at the bar. I ordered an orange juice since I was extremely thirsty and it was a little too early for a beer. I sat on the bar stool for about 10 minutes playing Keno with my brother when I began to feel extremely lightheaded. I could tell I was going to pass out, so out of reflex I tried to stand up and try to regain control of myself. Then everything went dark. My brother says he saw me stand straight up and then become stiff as a board and fall directly backwards onto the concrete floor. He also said that blood started to pool at the back of my head near the impact, although I don't remember any of that. Suddenly, I was in an ethereal space, floating without my body. I remember being hyper-aware of everything around me, and I could see my body on the floor with my brother and our friend shaking me and yelling me to wake up. My first thought was, man, I'm glad that's over with. I also remember being amazed that my sense of humor was still intact, and that I was still me in this other place. I remember feeling so good and so light with no cares at all. I felt like I was finally going home and immediately was experiencing a presence through my being that I was communicating with instantly. It said to me first, "Don't worry, we've got you." Every thought I had was instantly answered as soon as I thought it. Time seemed to be irrelevant and I didn't care because I was enveloped in a blanket of what I could only describe as pure love and acceptance. I instantly knew everything was okay and I was welcome here, wherever here was. I then felt my focus going out into the heavens, into a warm, dark place with light all around. I knew I was connected to everything instantly, and I knew I wanted to stay here. I can't overstate how much it felt like I had already been here before, and that it felt like home overwhelmingly. Then I had the thought that I never wanted to leave this place and wanted to continue further. As soon as I had that thought, came the knowing that I had to return to my body because there was more I had to learn on Earth. I felt slightly disappointed at this thought, but my bravery kicked in and I felt my focus return to my life on Earth. It was then that I had several flashes from the past of interactions I had with others on Earth, and I could feel and sense the emotions of everyone involved in the exchange like they were my own thoughts and emotions. I then understood the way that every little action we take in our lives echoes in this place forever, and that we are all connected to each other and to God. I cannot say if I was communicating with God or something else, but I could feel the presence of what I can only describe as God from the moment I transmuted into this form and space. I felt a tug back towards my body and felt myself going through a dark tunnel that ended with my eyes opening slowly and hearing my brother and our friend yelling my name. The paramedics had shown up by then, and I was carried out on a gurney to the ambulance. I tried to communicate what I'd just experienced, but I was unable to at the time. The paramedic told me I was in shock, which slowly subsided. I spent the night in the hospital and even received a visit from my employer, Merle Haggard, that night in the hospital, which was a wonderful thing. I haven't talked much about the experience until I began seeing NDE videos on YouTube and other people describing their experiences. It wasn't until then that I realized what had actually happened to me. Since the episode, I no longer am afraid of death because I know in my core that we continue to be ourselves after we leave the body. It has changed my way of thinking on the subject profoundly. I am very grateful that I was able to get a glimpse of the other side. Since then, I have lost quite a few friends and family who were close to me, and I know without a shadow of a doubt that I will see them again, and that they are experiencing the same love and eternal playground that I got to visit on that faithful day. In this profound journey of mine, I found myself engulfed in an experience beyond the ordinary, triggered by a life-threatening event. Picture this, an accident, a direct head injury. There I was, lying unresponsive, blood trickling from the back of my head on a cold concrete floor. I had passed out from dehydration, catapulting me into the unforeseen adventure. Paramedics arrived, declaring I was in shock, but that was just the beginning. In this surreal state, the content of my experience was unexpectedly pleasant. It was as if I detached from the physical constraints of my body, observing myself from a distance. There I was, my body on the floor, my brother and friend hovering over me, trying to wake me up. Yet to me, it seemed so irrelevant, almost trivial at the time. My consciousness soared to heights never before experienced. It was a heightened state of awareness where everything was crystal clear, and I could traverse the realms of thought with incredible speed. I was no longer bound by the limitations of time and space. It felt like everything was occurring at the same time, at the speed of light. This peak of consciousness happened when I transcended the earthly realm, leaving behind the room and my physical body. My senses were amplified to an extraordinary degree, vision, hearing, all disconnected from their physical conduits, operating independently and more vividly than ever before. It was if, when I thought of a question, the universe itself would whisper the answer right away. In this outer worldly state, I perceived events and places far beyond my immediate surroundings, though I never verified these insights. I remember passing through a tunnel, a transition that marked my return to the physical self, guided by the distant voices of my brother and friend. This experience was devoid of any specific beings or brilliant, unearthly lights. It was more about the feelings and perceptions within this mystical realm. I was enveloped in love, acceptance, non-judgment, and an overwhelming sense of peace and joy. It was as if I merged with the universe, understanding its intricate workings and feeling deeply connected to everything and everyone. Memories from my past flashed before me. I relived moments, felt emotions and thoughts of those involved as if they were my own, yet no glimpses of the future ever came to me. The most profound moment was the realization that I had a choice to return to life. A part of me resisted, infatuated by the peace and beauty of this state, but a deeper conscious decision emerged, the need to return to Earth. This decision manifested as a tunnel, guiding me back to my body, back to the life I knew. After my NDE, the way I see the world and my existence within it has fundamentally changed. One of the most striking realizations was about the interconnectedness of all things. I understood that even the smallest action on Earth can ripple across the universe, affecting matters on a grand scale. It was an insight into how uniquely interconnected all matter is. Perhaps the most transformative aspect of my experience was my understanding of life after death. The moment I realized I was outside my body and fully myself was astonishing to me. It felt like a return to a familiar state, a going back home sensation. This awareness brought me immense comfort, especially regarding the fear of death. It no longer was a fear for me. Instead, It's an understanding of the continuous journey we all have. During my near-death experience, I also gained insights into the nature of love. The love I felt was beyond any earthly comparison. It was as pure and unconditional as a parent's love for their child, but even more profound than that. It felt like every part of my being was cherished by a higher intelligence, a love that can transcend time and space. Since this experience, there had been moderate changes in my life. The most significant is the loss of the fear of dying. This realization brings comfort to me, especially when thinking about friends who have passed on. I feel reassured knowing that they are in the realm of eternal joy. The knowledge that we will reunite in this eternal existence is a source of solace to me. Expressing this experience in words has been challenging. It was overwhelmingly profound, filled with a sense of ease, love, and a heightened state of awareness. This God consciousness, as I call it, was unlike anything I've ever felt. I remember it more vividly than other life events around that time. One of the most meaningful parts of the experience was the knowledge that consciousness continues after death. This understanding had made it easier for me to discuss my experience, especially as a topic of NDEs have become less taboo over the years. It's now more comfortable to share, and I feel that people are more receptive to it. Before my near-death experience, I had no knowledge of such experiences, and nothing in my life, not even past experiences with psychoactive substances, had ever come close to replicating this state of being. The reality of this experience remains with me. It's as real now as it was then, permanently altering my perception of death. In essence, this experience has taught me that our consciousness exists beyond our physical bodies, and that there are other realms where we continue to be ourselves. It's a profound realization that has deeply impacted my understanding of life and existence as we know it. What an incredible journey. Doug, a man much like any of us, faced an unexpected turn in his life, a life-threatening event marking the beginning of his extraordinary journey. As paramedics rushed to his aid, Doug embarked on a surreal voyage. Despite the gravity of his physical condition, he described what he went through as entirely pleasant. It's hard to imagine, isn't it? Lying there in a state of shock, yet experiencing something amazingly peaceful? Doug's account of this experience challenges our everyday perceptions. He spoke of feeling separated from his body, an observer to his own physical form, lying there with his brother and a friend desperately trying to revive him. His consciousness, according to him, was heightened beyond anything we can easily comprehend. It was as if Doug had been granted a new lens to view existence, where he could transverse the bounds of thought with incredible speed and clarity. He was no longer confined by the limitations of time and space. Everything around him, every detail of his life, became vivid and clear. Perhaps the most profound aspect of Doug's story is the moment he chose to return to life. Within the tranquility and beauty of this state, he made a conscious decision to come back to life he knew, to the people he loved. This decision was represented by a tunnel guiding him back to his body. As I share Doug's story with you, it's not just to recount a near-death experience. It's to open a window into the possibilities that lie beyond what we see, feel, and understand in our everyday lives. Doug's journey offers us a glimpse into something larger than ourselves, a reminder of the mysteries and wonders of existence. So as we reach to the end of our journey through Doug's extraordinary experience, it's hard not to feel a profound sense of awe and contemplation. His story, a vivid illustration of the mysteries that lie at the edge of life and beyond, invite us to reflect on our own understandings of existence, consciousness, and the infinite trappesties of the universe. Doug's journey reminds us that there are realms of experience and understanding that transcend our everyday perceptions. It challenges us to think about the interconnectedness of all things, the nature of love and consciousness, and the profound peace that can be found in the most unexpected places. As we part ways in this episode, I encourage you to carry the essence of Doug's story with you. Let it be a reminder of the unexplored depths of our existence and the possibilities that life holds, even beyond what we can see and touch. Thank you for joining me on this incredible exploration. If Doug's story has moved you, inspired you, or simply made you think, please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content that dives into the extraordinary aspects of our world. Until next time, keep exploring, keep wondering, and remember, the journey is as important as the destination. We'll see you in the next episode.